All right, this next loan's going to be hard for you guys to comprehend. It's kind of tough. It's called a wraparound loan or a wrap loan. Not that kind of wrap. It's with a W. A wraparound loan is a second loan that is taken out but doesn't pay off the first. They wrap it around to pay off the first. All right? Anybody ever bought or sold on land contract? If you've done that, and the person that is selling it, called the vendor, maybe has an underlying mortgage. So what happens is you, as the vendee, pay your vendor $200. He takes 100 of that 200 and pays off his loan and keeps the difference. Everybody see what I'm doing? He's wrapped your loan around his. So your payment is covering his payment. Banks have done this. Suppose you are a developer and you've got a loan from a bank that has a prepayment penalty. You don't want to pay it off because it has a prepayment penalty, but you need money. So what happens is you can go to another bank. Now, once again, this is not a loan you're going to do just by going, hey, I got that done in 10 minutes. This is going to take some work. But you go to another loan and another bank and you say, okay, I need my 100 grand, but here's what I'm going to do. I'll pay you the $800 a month for the 100,000. But you take 4 of that and ship it to the first bank and pay them that loan. So you're actually getting more money out, but you're only paying one bank, and they're taking a portion of that payment and paying off the other payment. So you're wrapping the first loan. So you're getting a second loan without paying off the first. It's called a wraparound. Sweet. That either went really well or strikingly terrible. At the cigar store the other day, and one guy was talking, and the other guy looked at him and goes, you're so stupid, I don't even know how to start to help you. And the guy said, excuse me? And Bill repeated it again. So either I explained that really well, or you guys are so lost you don't even know where to ask the question at.
I think B.
Yeah. Just know it's a second loan without paying off the first. That's the big thing. And there's reasons you don't pay off the first. Maybe it's because it's got a prepayment penalty. You don't want to pay the penalty. Might have a better interest rate. I don't know. Now, what I do know is you've got this thing called an open-end loan on page 278. And on the next page is one called a home equity loan. So you've got the open-end loan and the home equity loan on different pages. These are virtually the same kind of concept, only I want you to understand that an open-end loan is a loan that you may go qualify for, but you don't take the money out right away. You have access to it. So an open-end loan works like a line of credit, all right? So I've got 20 grand in equity. I go and I get approved for 20 grand. But wait, I don't want to use it yet. I don't have any idea. So they may give you a charge card or a checkbook or something like that. So now you're walking through Sears and you go, sweet lawnmower. You write a check. They take the money from that loan, and now you start paying interest when you start using it. All right? So an open-end loan, you don't take the money. You just get the availability to. They don't start charging you interest. You don't pay anything back, nothing. Works like a line of credit. A home equity line of credit, or what the euphemism is called a HELOC, H-E-L-O-C. You go and you get apply for the 20 grand. They give you all 20 grand. And now you go pay off your car insurance, your car payment, your credit cards, and you go on a vacation, and you start paying money back instantly because you took the money. So a home equity line of credit works like a loan. kind of funny how that works. Open-end loans work like lines of credit because they're open-ended. You don't necessarily take any of it or all of it. You don't have to take all of it. When you get a home equity line of credit or a HELOC, you apply for 20, they give you 20. In an open-end loan, you apply for 20, you may only use 2, but you don't start paying until you use it. But a HELOC, you start paying right away because they give it to you. So open-end loan works like a line of credit. The home equity loan works like a line, works like more like a loan. Copacetic? Yeah. Construction loans. A construction loan is a short-term, high-interest rate loan, usually 1 year. High interest rate, sometimes twice to 2.5 times what the going market rate is. So if you can buy a 30-year AM loan at 4%, construction loans may be 8 or 9%. Why would it be high interest rate? A construction loan is designed to build a property from nothing. So when they actually issue you that money, there really is no collateral. It's a drawing. You go to the bank and show them the house plans and say, here's what I want to build. And they go, oh, that's probably worth 300 grand. Okay. We will loan you the money to build it, but it's short term, high interest rate because there's really no house there. If we have to foreclose upon you, what are we getting? There's nothing there. That's why it's a high risk, and risk translates to high interest rate. So a construction loan is a short-term, high interest rate loan that is designed to be taken out by what they call a permanent loan, or sometimes you hear it called a takeout loan. They take it out. And what happens is they refinance. What's a refinance? It's a sale with a repurchase. So now they're paying off that 12-month, 9% interest construction loan with a 30-year amortized loan, and now it's 4%, so your payments are now down to, $500 or $600, and you've got a true loan on your property. It works like this. You go and you get approved for $300. Now, they don't give you the $300 in your hand, because if they did, I'd be in Jamaica daring somebody to come find me. All right? What they do is they put it in the bank, and it works on what they call the draw system. So your builder starts building, and he pours the cement pad, and he puts the frames up, and he comes to you and goes, hey, Singh, I've done 20 grand worth of work. I need paid. So you go to the bank and go, hey, we got 20 grand. Pay him 20,000. You draw 20 grand out, and you pay the builder. Then he does the drywall and whatnot. You draw more money out and pay the builder. What you hope is when the builder closes the door and goes, I'm done, you draw out the very last dollar and hand it to him, and now you've got a house, no money in the bank, and you want to now refinance that loan through the takeout loan or the permanent, and whoop, now you've got a house for collateral on a 30-year mortgage. But what you really hope is that $300,000 house that you just paid to have built now reappraises at $340,000 or $350,000 so that you've got that 80% loan to value and you don't have to come to the table with any money. This is the same process as how builders make money. Think about that. A builder builds a house for $300,000. He wants it to be worth $350,000. So he puts it on the market at $350,000, you buy it, that he pays off his underlying loan of $300,000, makes the $50,000. You could do the same thing, only you would call it equity by building your own home for $300,000. When it's done, it's worth $350,000. Now I've got 50 grand worth of equity.
Is this typically how people build houses?
Yes, this is exactly how they build houses. Depending on if they're building their own house Or if a builder's building houses to make money, like Davis Homes. That's exactly how they do it. Slightly different loan, but as far as you're concerned, the process is the same. Brad Davis goes and borrows money, builds the home. The home is now worth more than it cost him to build. He sells it, pays off that underlying loan, and the difference is the profit. You want to build a house with you and your husband. You build a house, you get it done, you get a construction loan. When it's done, you have it appraised, hopefully for more. You refinance your construction loan into a permanent 30-year fixed, and now you've got this $350,000 home that you owe $300 on at a 30-year mortgage at 4%. So the construction loan is the first portion, and once it's done, you refinance it. All right? So it's designed to be taken out by a permanent loan. A lot of banks anymore will not do a construction loan if they don't get the permanent loan. I mean, I already showed you here, this little simple example. Their money gets doubled. They loaned 100, they get back 200. What's, 10% of 300 grand? 30,000. So that short-term high interest rate loan is really a loss leader for the bank. They don't want to do the paperwork to earn 30 grand. They want to do the paperwork where it's going to double and make them 300 grand. So a lot of banks now will say, we'll do a construction loan, but we get the permanent loan. And you qualify for both immediately. And typically now, in this consumer world of we want it cheaper, they refinance automatically. You don't have to go through a process because they qualified you for the permanent loan. Once the money's all gone and the house is built, internally they'll just go, and now you've got the 30-year loan. So you don't have a second closing, so to speak. All right? Yeah. Somebody can come to you and go, huh? Well, no, you can actually approach a builder. Who? MI Homes. We'll go with MI. Yeah. Yes, and you might get a buyer that comes to you and says, look, I've been looking on the MLS, can't find anything I like. Can we build a home? You're like, yeah, we can build a home. Well, who do you recommend? I don't know. Let's go see Michael Duke. So we go see Mike Duke, and he's like, okay. Break out your wallet, but, But, yeah, and then he'll tell you, I will pay you 3% for bringing me the buyer. That 3% is worked in the price of the home. All right? And that goes back to what I was just saying earlier where some buyers go, well, I'm really paying you because the price of the home now has been jacked up 3% to cover the realtor. So there are buyers that try and claim that. But what happens is they sit down with Michael Duke and he says it's 900 grand. They go, okay.
So if when my husband and I build and I go to a builder, can I make that builder pay me the 3%?
Yeah.
For the house that I'm having built?
Yes. You are your own agent. When I closed my house the first of the month, last month, I got paid a paycheck to buy my own house.
Well, I knew you could do that, but I didn't know if the builder.
Yeah. Now, some builders, yeah, and it depends. Some builders, the guy might look at you and go, hey, do you want me to pay you? Or I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll knock $6,000 off the price and not pay you. All right? Now, the only thing you have to worry about that is, well, no, I'm not even thinking, I'm being greedy. That's not your money. It's my money, right? So if you, say you work for me, that's my $6,000. I might not necessarily allow you to say, oh yeah, don't pay a commission, just knock $6,000 off the price because I just got screwed my portion out of that. I'm the broker. You're going to have to come to me and go, hey, can we do this? And that depends on how I'm feeling that day. That's God's honest truth. Most of us usually have a written procedure. Like in my firm, you can sell your personal residence once every 2 years without paying a commission to me. All right? But investors, I had an investor go, well, they're my house. Yeah, but you're making money on the houses. I'm making money on the houses. So I've got an investor that flips houses. He pays me every time. All right? So you have to run that through your broker and go, hey, I want to buy this house. What can we do? And he may say, you know what, go ahead. This is your one shot this 2 years. Let him knock it off the price. He may say, I'll tell you what, knock it off the price and you owe me $1,000. I don't know. That's up to whatever the broker says. But just remember, that's the broker's money. Now, if you owned the company, it was your company, like I did on mine, yeah, sure, I'll do whatever you want to do. Or I'm keeping all the money. Buy down. A buy down is a partial or permanent prepayment of the loan. And we're not going to get into the mathematical formula of how much is interest spread out over 30 years equals this cash value now. It's called the present value of money. But they will do that for you. And what I'm talking about is this. If you called a really good mortgage broker today and ask him what the going rate was, what's he going to tell you? What should he tell you? If they're really to the 10th power good, they should say, what do you want it to be? Because we can make it any number you want. We may have to buy down the interest rate to get to that, but I can get to it. You want a 1% loan? I guarantee you right now, I can call a guy, I'll get you a 1% home loan. You may pay 11 grand up front to get it, but he'll get you 1%. Because what he's going to do is buy down all that interest up front. And you have to do the math. The difference between what he can get you and what the market rate is, maybe it's $80 a month. Well, $80 a month for the next 30 years is how much? $300,000 you might save? Okay, the bank will take 110 now. And it goes back to that statement we just talked about the other day. Do you want $100 now, or do you want $120 at $10 a month for the next year? You can buy it down, and that was exactly what I think it was Joe. He said he'd take $100. Okay, well, if I paid him $100, well, I just did it the other night. Great example. My wife and I joined the YMCA in Nashville, and you guys have seen this all at the same time. It's $44 a month. But if you pay all of it up front, it's only $500. I bought down the price. Okay, I'll pay the $500 up front and save, because that works out to be like $41 a month or whatever the numbers were. I saved money by paying it up front. I bought it down. You can do the same thing. You don't want to pay a 4% interest rate? Pay 3%. May cost you 2 or 3 discount points, hint, hint, up front. That's the discount point. So a buy down is a temporary or permanent prepayment of loans. Not going to end it yet because I skipped one there I want to check on. The sale leaseback. The sale leaseback is a very, very, very common financing trick in the commercial world. Matter of fact, it's so common, it's easier for me to tell you companies that don't do it than do it. What a sale leaseback is somebody that owns a property, sells it to an investor, and then turns around and leases it back from them on a lease. All right? So it's a sale leaseback. It works very well in almost all of your publicly traded companies, because what it does is it takes the 30-year mortgage off their long-term debt, and it becomes a short-term lease, and it changes their financial statement. All right? So McDonald's doesn't do it. Walmart doesn't do it. All of the PepsiCo stuff, which became Yum, now is something else, does it. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, Walgreens, CVS. Long John Silver's, White Castle, Popeyes, all of those don't own their properties. They build them, and they build them exactly how they want them. Then they sell it to some investor, and then they turn around and sign a 30-year lease with that investor, and that lease pays some percentage return on that investor's money higher than he would have gotten if he'd have taken it to the bank. So for example, you got a cool $15 million laying around. Home Depot costs about $15 million. You go buy a Home Depot, buy the building, they'll sell it to you, then they turn around and sign a lease that pays like $18,000 a month for 30 years. When you do the math, you figure out that that's a 6.5% or 7% return on your money. Where are you going to get that return in a bank? Nowhere. So it's very common in the commercial world. We'll touch on it again in the leasing process, but it's called a sale-leaseback. Sell the property to somebody, lease it back for them, guaranteed by corporate charter and all that. What are the odds that Home Depot's going out of business? Now, it could happen, and there is a risk for that, but the odds are it's probably not. You know, what are the odds Enron's going out of business? Oop, wait. Never mind. Did you guys see that parody of the Batman movie? Whereas what's Bruce Wayne's dad? What was his name? As he's dying, he's like, put all your money in Enron. Never mind. I thought it was hilarious. Next audio file.